Hello guys and welcome back to the KRYPT. In today's video, we're going to be exploring the world of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on the hardest difficulty, hard. But before we dive into this video, spoilers ahead. This video is my hard difficulty playthrough of Rebirth, which contains many spoilers for newcomers to the series. So if you want to experience this game for yourself, click off the video now. Here's your last warning. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's go. Now, in order to unlock hard difficulty, you must have completed all 14 chapters in Rebirth. Hard difficulty then becomes unlocked as a difficulty option in chapter select. In hard difficulty, enemies are tougher, you don't have access to items, and rest stops recover HP but not MP. However, more character manuscripts are added to spend on the folio board for upgrades. Using chapter select for hard difficulty means you can play any chapter on hard in any order and carry over your progression. On Twitch, I streamed most of my first playthrough and hard difficulty playthrough, where sadly pretty much no one was watching me. But if you want to watch me on Twitch, the link's in the description. I keep my stream schedule up to date, so be sure to drop in when I'm live. But enough of plugging my Twitch. In my first playthrough, I perfected almost every activity and minigame, beat most combat challenges, completed each region, and achieved almost every trophy in the game. And I must say, I'm definitely a fan of Queen's Blood. However, Rebirth has so much to do in it and it can be overwhelming and exhausting to play. And there were plenty of frustrations in my first playthrough. Near the end of my first playthrough, I was skipping cutscenes, getting frustrated at minigames, and dying a lot. I ended up changing the difficulty to easy late into this playthrough to beat the summon fights, Gilgamesh, and the bout challenges in the Musclehead Coliseum. I started my hard difficulty playthrough shy of 100 hours of playtime and ended with a total playtime of what's on screen now. But that playtime also includes hard difficulty exclusive combat challenges you'll see later in this video. For comparison, I completed Final Fantasy VII Remake at 88 hours and Final Fantasy 16 at 90 hours. And most of the footage you'll be seeing here in this video is my hard difficulty playthrough on Twitch. In my experience in playing this difficulty, you need to master the game's combat. This means timing your blocks, attacks, counters, keeping party members alive, and having a lot of patience. Seriously, you will die a lot to bosses on hard difficulty. There were several times I died to one-hit attacks and chain attacks. Bosses and even regular enemies attack quicker and more frequently. I had several fights where I had to equip new materia and even look up guides on how to beat some of the bosses. Outside of boss battles, it's best to avoid optional battles to focus on beating each chapter as quick as possible. Since you can't unlock hard mode until you beat all 14 chapters, you should have progressed a lot throughout the game. And that progression is needed for hard difficulty, trust me. I thought I was over leveled with almost 100 hours playtime in my first playthrough, but hard difficulty still kicked my ass several times, as you'll see in this video. So with that being said, let's jump right into my hard difficulty playthrough of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Starting chapter 1, it's a flashback to Cloud, Sephiroth's, and Tifa's time in Nibelheim. And playing through this opening, I didn't know there was optional things you could explore in Nibelheim. So I went into Tifa's house and seen her cat's bowl. Tifa says her cat always goes missing, and there's a side quest with her cat later on in the game. So it's kind of nice seeing this sort of foreshadowing to a later quest in the second playthrough. We also get to see more Tifa's stuff, but I'll let you imagine what we see. Continuing on, this chapter serves as an introduction to gameplay and doesn't introduce anything challenging until later with the boss. Though fighting these enemies, I noticed they have a lot of health and it takes a while to defeat them. While this isn't necessarily difficult, it does prolong this playthrough. These fights won't gain you much XP if you're a high level, so it's best to avoid them if you can. Later in the chapter, we have our first boss fight with this Materia Guardian. Sephiroth is in our party, so we could switch between Cloud and Sephiroth during this fight. I was very confident going into this, thinking that I was over leveled starting this hard difficulty playthrough, but this boss quickly humbled me.
What the f was that? Cloud. Okay. Okay. Did I lose? Almost. No, I lost. Okay. I lost the first fight already. I guess the first boss.
I ended up relying on arguably the most powerful summon in the game, Odin, to help me defeat this boss. I didn't use summons often in my first playthrough, only when I was in a pinch. But this boss proved difficult, even with Odin's help. And something I learned only after putting around 100 hours into this game is that counterfire can actually reflect attacks.
I did not know you counterfire like that.
Attacking and blocking with party members outside of synergy abilities are something I never used. But if you can master timing these blocks and attacks, it will greatly help you on hard difficulty. After defeating the Materia Guardian, we continue to make our way through the Mako reactor. And for those of you playing this for the first time, be prepared for slow interactions. It's common in this game for interactions to take like 10 seconds to do. Flashback to present day, we start chapter 2 at the city of Calm. And while this video is focused on how hard this difficulty is, there are a few trophies and activities I need to do for 100% completion. Since I did every side quest and perfected almost every minigame, I have access to almost every weapon in the game. And what I didn't realize was these weapons were available to purchase at an equipment shop. There were a nice amount of weapons I was missing, especially for Kate Sith. And once you master each weapon's ability, you can use that weapon's ability without the weapon equipped. You want to be as prepared as much as possible for hard difficulty, so it's best to have weapon abilities mastered for each party member. I'm glad I picked up these weapons here, as I could use their abilities later in this playthrough. Moving on with the story, once we sneak out of Calm when Shinra shows up, we get access to the open world and the grasslands. Carrying over all my progression means I have all regional data in each region, which in turn makes it easier to get around because I can fast travel to most locations. However, because of story related reasons, we don't have access to chocobos yet. But a nice perk of being the story, I have access to changing booths at ranches. So now you'll see almost everybody in their summer attire for the rest of this playthrough. Later, we make our way through the swamplands where we have a boss fight with Midgarsamer. I hope I never butchered that. This boss fight was also probably the quickest I've ever died to a boss.
I'll show you what I can do.
Holy crap, that took out more half my health. Holy crap, man. Dead. You ate me. Wow. Alright.
Midgarsamer, like most bosses, have a grapple attack that traps party members. On this difficulty, these attacks are devastatingly strong and can lead to many deaths if the party member is not freed in time. This boss made me reconsider my approach. I even equipped Reprieve to automatically revive a down party member. But even with reconsidering my approach, I struggled to beat this boss and kept dying.
One hit! I am doing shit all against this thing. Holy crap. Dead. Okay, this is gonna be a lot harder than I thought. I didn't think this playthrough would be that hard. The first chapter is pretty easy, but this boss enemies are the hardest. I did keep my guard up. I blocked that and it did a lot of damage. Really? That got shut down pretty quickly. I'm dead. Wow. I can't even get past this first fight. God, I cannot avoid that as Barrett. One hit, I got downed. Holy crap. That's it, we lost. Yeah, we lost. Whoa. Okay, I'll try it one more time. And Cloud's already out of it. Tifa's immediately get down like that. That's crazy. One hit. This is so hard. I can't avoid that as Barrett. I'm dead.
This recording session was after playing this game for about 4 hours in the afternoon, so I was already exhausted and decided I'll try again tomorrow. Returning to this fight the next day, I actually managed to defeat Midgarsimer on my first attempt. After defeating him, I yearned for the mines. The Mithril Mines. There's a lot of optional fights here I engage in because I'm trying to master my weapon abilities. These fights were pretty easy, with most enemies dying within seconds of starting the fight. There were a couple orcs I could have fought here, but I intentionally skipped these enemies because I didn't need the EXP or weapon abilities to master. And what's common in this game, before any big boss fight, there's usually a bench, a vending machine, and a folio machine. In my first playthrough, it was easy to tell I was going to fight a boss when these were there. But since benches only heal HP, it begged the question on how do I restore MP without items?
How do I restore MP without items? How is that possible?
Since I wasn't sure, I was very conserving on my MP in these mines. What I didn't realize in this recording session that Chocobo stops restore HP and MP. And in hindsight, I would have rested at a Chocobo stop before this boss fight if I could have. The boss fight we have here is against the Turks, Rude and Blonde Tifa. Seriously, does anyone find a lane that looks like a younger Tifa but with blonde hair, or is that just me? Anyway, in the story, Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith are separated from Red and Barret. So this fight has to be fought with Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith. And while the Turks are reoccurring boss fights in this game, they're not too difficult. And this fight is no exception. Rude's and Elena's attacks are easily avoidable until they unleash their petite powerhouse attack. But even that attack doesn't do much damage compared to other bosses like Midgarsimer. But the difficulty in these fights come from how much health the Turks have. They definitely have more health than normal difficulty, which kinda drags on this fight. After defeating both Rude and Elena, we switched to Red and Barret to find our way out of the mines. Besides fighting some enemies to master weapon abilities, there's not a lot that happens here until we fight the Mithril Golem. Having only Barret and Red for this fight feels like a handicap against this boss. This boss was incredibly difficult to fight. Basic attacks only do reduced damage, so your objective is to destroy its head to pressure it. But in the second phase of this fight, it grows a spine and a blade arm that protects its head. And attacking its head while it has a spine causes it to use a defensive barrage attack. This attack alone causes so many failed attempts because it does a lot of damage. Landing just one attack almost guarantees death because you get stun locked by each subsequent attack. And this was so infuriating to deal with.
Oh my god, one hit kills. I can't do this without Barret. God damn it, Barret gets downed every time from that. Holy crap. I don't think I could do this with Barret. It's not even a health. Oh my god, I get stun locked. God damn, man. That one move. I'm not even halfway into the fight, and this is... Wow. That thing just drains your health, man. This one move, my god. That one move, it's just, it hits you and then it chain hits you. Oh my god, again. This, I don't know what the attack is, but it's starting to piss me really off. It just stun locks you. Yeah, like, look, I get hit by one, and then I get hit by another, and then I get hit by another. Like, that's... that is so frustrating to deal with. Is it? I don't know if it's a magic attack. I don't have anything to defend against magic. This one attack. Look, I almost lost all my health from that. That's crazy. And Red is down. God. Holy crap. Wow, one attack. Crystallized bombardment. It just stun locks you. I hate that. This one attack, my god, dude, I didn't have time. You get hit by one of these little bombardments and you get stun locked, and it's so frustrating. Laser barrage. I do not know how to dodge that. Holy crap, man. Barret is down. Oh my god, man. It's just this laser bombardment, man. It's driving me nuts. It just drains your health, multiple hits, stun locks you. It's unreal. I had so many failed attempts, I decided to look up an online guide on how to defeat this boss. The guide I used explained you need to destroy its spine to stop it from using the barrage attack when attacking its head. But because bosses attack quicker, this boss repairs itself before I could get any good amount of damage on its head. With some tweaking to my equipment, a few more failed attempts, and even more tweaking to my equipment, I managed to beat him.
It's over.
Okay, we got it. Oh my god, we got it. After like an hour fighting this thing. Holy crap, that was hard. Oh my god. Oh. This recording session was 2 hours and 36 minutes, and about an hour and a half of that was just fighting the Mithril Golem. This is by far the longest and hardest fight I've ever done in this game up to this point, and I was super relieved it was over. After leaving the mines, we arrive at Under Junon. And before we rest up at the inn, we're introduced to Yuffie, who is attacked by the Terror of the Deep. And like Margasimer, this boss can trap party members. Where Margasimer would trap party members by eating them, Terror of the Deep traps them in bubbles. These bubbles are resistant to basic attacks, but weak to magic. Magic being scarce on hard difficulty, I tend to avoid using it when I don't need to. But these bubbles have so much health, it's best to use magic to free your party members to get them back into the fight. Also during this fight, I realized how fast enemies attack, as some of the boss's attacks seem unavoidable. And like the Mithril Golem, you get attacked by chain attacks, but here it's not that much damage. After my first death, I equipped my party members with the boss's elemental weakness, lightning. Barret already had elemental materia equipped to add lightning magic to his basic attacks from the Mithril Golem fight. Using elemental materia paired with the element a boss is weak to definitely helps on this difficulty, as it chips away at the boss's health faster. So be sure to equip elemental materia for an edge up on bosses when they have elemental weakness. Here, I didn't struggle much with Terror of the Deep. After a few failed attempts in changing my equipment, I defeated him. Okay, we beat him. Okay, that wasn't so bad. After sleeping at the inn in Under Junon, we make our way to the Junon Aerodrome. At this part of this game, you're supposed to complete a minigame to get access to the tanker's controls. But thankfully in Chapter Select, you can just skip minigames. I am pretty happy with this feature because I have definitely played enough of these minigames. In the Junon Aerodrome, Cloud and company dress up as Shinra captains. Here you look for the soldiers of the 7th Infantry to perform in a parade. And finding all soldiers took me a while to do. While the difficulty didn't have much effect here, I needed to recruit all 7 infantry soldiers, arrange them in the parade, and perform well enough to get a trophy. This performance is also needed to complete Johnny's collection. After the performance, we need to fight our way out of Junon Aerodrome as Cloud accompanied with the 7th Infantry. We fight Shinra soldiers, we fight soldiers and machines, which were surprisingly difficult. These enemies have a surprising amount of health, as each attack I do only chips away a little at their health. I struggle mostly while fighting the machines while soldiers shoot me from above. These soldiers can't be attacked until the machine is destroyed, which is a bit frustrating to deal with. The 7th Infantry helps me in these fights and even heals me with potions, as little health as that gives. I appreciate the effort though. Before leaving Junon Aerodrome, we have a fight against Roche. Roche rides around on his bike while attacking. He's very quick to move, but his basic attacks can be parried with good timing. I summoned Odin to help me in this fight, but I didn't struggle too much. Roche goes down on my 3rd attempt. On our cruise to Costa del Sol, I forfeit in the Queen's Blood tournament, and I love Red's introduction into the tournament.
Present to you.
Not so fast, good captain. I've yet to show my hand. do it.
Despite forfeiting in the tournament, you play against Red in a game of Queen's Blood, but I forfeit here too. I love Queen's Blood, but I don't want to touch another minigame again. And Red was going to win anyway. Later in the night, the cruise is attacked by Fiends. And after fighting the Fiends, we end with a fight against Genova and Emergent. Genova was not too difficult, but has 2 one-hit attacks. What the hell? One move killed both of us. All of us. Instant kill attacks, man. I get tired of those. And while party members are usually good at blocking attacks and staying alive, they do occasionally slip up. On this difficulty, this slip up can get them downed. And sometimes it really feels like I have to babysit party members by taking control of them. I don't think I'm gonna win this. I don't even have them down to half health. I don't have confidence I'm gonna beat this. So I'm gonna have to put the Bible on Barrett. I'm getting really tired of the one-hit kills. Like, that is so OP. Instant kill attacks, man. I get tired of those. Like, come on, Cloud. You're already down. That's a... What the f... I had no control of what happened there. It's just that you... And he's almost down already. Come on, man. Cloud, my god, man. Learn to avoid attacks. I was doing so well that fight. Come on, he's almost... Okay, we got it. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Arriving at Costa del Sol, we get into another boss fight, this time with the Gastropod. This fight was easy because Gastropod's attacks are very easy to dodge. However, it does have a lot of health. I didn't really avoid that very well. Between recordings, I read up and beating the story on hard difficulty. The guide I used recommended completing the brutal challenges to get Gotterdammerung. How do you say that? How do you say that? Jesus. I'm sorry if I butchered that, but this name is like German or something. There's a total of 15 brutal and legendary challenges unlocked after defeating Gilgamesh. These challenges are only available on hard difficulty, so I think it's good to include them in this video. I thought that I could probably beat all these challenges in 3 to 4 hours. But my god, did I underestimate how hard and long most of these challenges are. I started with the first brutal challenge. Each brutal challenges is 10 rounds of increasingly difficult enemies to fight. So brutal challenges become a matter of endurance, preserving MP, and staying alive. And while some of the enemies in this first challenge are pretty vanilla enemies, when enemies attack you all at once, it becomes difficult. I completed this first challenge on my first attempt and quickly moved on to the second brutal challenge. This is where I was stuck for a very long time. This second challenge usually has you fighting a normal and tough variation of the same enemy. To me, it's manageable for the first 4 rounds, but round 5 is where it gets difficult because you have enemies that put long-lasting status effects on you. In particular, you'll get poisoned, put to sleep, and pinned by enemies who then deal a lot of damage. The combination of all these make for an incredibly difficult round. This vacuum attack, man, it annoys the hell out of me.
Damn it.
Not throwing in the towel.
Damn it. Really? Already?
Let's do this.
Holy crap, I didn't have time to even react.
Always did. Hell yeah.
Fuck. This round 5 of this is killing me. Oh my god, dude. These bright frogs, man, they all have freaking turned into a toad. How am I supposed to react to that? Oh my good god, man.
The next two following rounds are not too bad, but round 8 introduces oh my god, how do you say that? Agrevercon? Agrevercon. And man, do I hate this ostrich. He attacks so quickly, can turn you into a toad.
Motherfucker turned me into a frog.
And even one hit you with his stone throw attack.
What? One hit, come on!
On repeat attempts, I prioritized defeating him first and beat the challenge because the following 2 rounds were not that hard. This second challenge took me about an hour and a half to beat. And what's funny to me was that the third challenge, I beat my first try.
Oh, the Avatar. I'm gonna take him out first. No, that's not an Avatar, thank god. Or whatever his name is.
It took me shy of 15 minutes on my first attempt to beat the third challenge. So I attempted the fourth challenge before giving up, realizing how difficult the first round is.
Come on. Just like that, I'm down too. We lost.
So besides attempting the fourth challenge once, this entire recording session was just beating 3 of the 15 brutal and legendary combat challenges.
I only completed 3 bout challenges, these brutal challenges, out of the 6. And it took me 2 hours and 45 minutes. Wow.
The next day, I decided to tackle the 4th brutal challenge, but after quickly failing this challenge 3 times, I decided to try one of the legendary challenges. And my god, these are even harder than the brutal challenges. Legendary challenges are 1 party member versus 5 rounds of usually tough enemies. I attempted this challenge a few times before I decided to look up an online guide. I used the guide's recommended equipment to best tackle this challenge. What's difficult about this challenge is round 2 against the White Terror. The White Terror has an incredible amount of health and can kill you in 1 or 2 hits.
Oh my god. Oh, I don't even have time to cast it. Come on.
Turned out to be. This time.
How was I supposed to? Like, how is that fair?
To be.
Cloud, come on. I can't dodge that. That's so infuriating, man. Oh. I don't know how they expect you to do this fight. It's so hard. God, 1 hit from him like takes that much damage.
Any last words?
That barely does like I have them like half health and that's it. I'm not doing anything against this enemy.
Still in it.
I'm dead.
The hero you turned out to be.
Oh my god. I don't know how they expect you to defeat this with just 1 fighter, one party member. This is one of the hardest enemies in the game. I don't know how to beat this challenge. My god. This is so hard. This is so brutal. It's 2 hits, he kills me.
The guide I used recommended using Prime mode to block and parry attacks, and doing this fills the White Terror's stagger bar quicker, so this fight became a matter of blocking and parrying attacks with the right timing, and using Mana Wall to protect myself against his ear-splitting howl attack.
One more. Ah, you get healed up. Come here, you're almost dead. Got him, I got him. Oh, holy crap.
I know I said earlier pretty much no one was watching me on Twitch, but I do get the occasional follower, which is greatly appreciated.
Hello, Susan. Hi, Kylie, sorry.
The following round, I wasted no time in using the online guide to help me. Erashiros, if I'm pronouncing that right, has a lot of health, protects himself from magic, and has a permanent boost to his attacks. And once his stagger bar is mostly filled, he uses Concentrate to lower it back down. What I learned to use the most powerful version of Thunder to stop him using Concentrate and use Focus Thrust to increase his stagger bar. Without staggering him, basic attacks will take forever to defeat him.
Okay, we got him. That's good.
The 4th round is easy as this enemy's attacks are easily avoidable. And the 5th round is against an Ironclad. Ironclad is one of the hardest enemies in this game, and this one has a tremendous amount of health. The strategy here is to stay behind him to avoid his strong attacks and keep increasing his stagger bar. Ironclad becomes staggered when he uses Sharpen, but shortly after using Sharpen, he'll use his strongest move, Thantosian Blade. With a party of 3 and more enemies, this one-hit attack is hard to avoid. But since this challenges Cloud alone, it's easy to avoid. The only attack I tend to get hit with is with his sweeping move he uses when you're besides or behind him, and his unavoidable gravity spell, which drains your health down to 1 HP. I failed my first attempt against Ironclad because I didn't preserve enough magic to keep myself alive.
I don't know if I could beat him. I'm out of magic. He beat me.
Figures it would end like this.
Oh my god. The last fight I lost. There are 9 of these challenges. 9. And this is just the first one. And I've been on this for like 45 minutes. Like that, I don't, like, would they expect you to spend all day on this or something? Like, it's 15 different challenges. But on my second attempt, I very carefully tiptoe around him, chipping away at his health and avoiding attacks to eventually defeat him. No, not the gravity one. I gotta stick back. Ah, damn it. Use your blade attack. Come on, I know you're waiting for it. I'm almost out of magic. Pop. Block that. That's a good block. Damn it. Good block. Okay, we got staggered. Limit. Come on. Okay, we got him. Holy crap. Oh, that challenge. My god.
Oh. Having finally completed the first legendary challenge, I move on to the next legendary challenge with Barret. Using a guide, Barret's challenge at first didn't seem difficult until I got to round 4. Round 4 is against moss-grown Adamantoise, or for Pokemon fans watching, Torterra. What makes this fight against Torterra difficult is the constant projectiles coming out from his shell and his charge attack. Barret has slow movement as a trade-off for being the tank party member, but in this fight his slow movement makes it hard to avoid the projectiles and charge attack. As the fight progresses, the projectiles become more and more frequent. These projectiles make basic attacks almost impossible to do because you're constantly dodging the projectiles. Even with the online guide, Torterra was too difficult to defeat.
Dead. Okay, that's... I don't know how to defeat him. He just spams. No, it's just that attack, man, where he's like, bam, boom, 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 boom. I can't... Oh, I can't beat that. Try again. How do you dodge that? He hit me twice with it. Yeah, I don't know how to beat him.
End of the line.
I don't know how to beat this guy.
The next day, I decided to tackle the 4th Brutal Challenge again. This time though, I used a different guide and modified my party's equipment according to the guide. This build focused on using Aerith as a healer to keep party members alive. The other 2 party members, Tifa and Yuffie, are focused on offensive play. Yuffie is particularly useful for these challenges because she can use elemental attacks enemies are weak to. Combined with her doppelganger ability, where her attacks hit twice, you get a lot of damage output from Yuffie alone. On my first and second attempt, I didn't like this build because it didn't have healing materia on each party member. So I gave up on these attempts and re-modified my equipment so each member had healing materia. Throughout this playthrough and my first playthrough, each party member had healing materia equipped. So when one party member had their ATB gauge filled, I could rely on them to heal party members when needed. This way, in a sense, each party member is a healer. And considering one attack can take out more than half your health on hard difficulty, keeping party members healed is crucial in fights. Continuing with this challenge, on my 3rd attempt, I make it to round 3 and lose.
And he's down. And then down. All of them.
Calling to me. I know you.
Dead. All of them dead. Oh, I just spent like 10 minutes on that challenge. More than 10 minutes.
What I realized here is having revival on certain party members makes a difference. Considering I was mostly playing as Yuffie and enemies mostly target who you're controlling, putting revival on Yuffie was a mistake. Yuffie got down, which means I couldn't use revival to get her up. After this failed attempt, I quickly modified my equipment again, so Aerith had revival equipped instead. I have only 1 revival materia, so who has it equipped could mean the difference between winning or losing a round. On my 5th attempt, I make it all the way to round 7. On round 7, you have to fight against 2 landworms. The worst thing about landworms is that they can swallow party members, taking them out of the fight unless freed. I fought these things before in my first playthrough and knew of their swallow attack, but hard difficulty makes it even harder to avoid because of how quick enemies attack, and unfortunately, I don't avoid it here.
Oh, god damn it, man. It's so hard to dodge that attack. Oh my god, man. And he swallowed me, come on. Really? This is so, it's just 2 of these worms, that's all it takes to defeat us. How do you,
Just wish I could.
the worms won. Oh my god, I spent like 20 minutes on that. 21 minutes and 57 seconds on this one challenge. My god, how long did he want these challenges to go on? That was 7 rounds. Holy crap, I gotta do this all over again because those worms. After this attempt, I jumped right back into trying the challenge again. I made it back to round 7, but this time I won against the landworms.
Now with extra beguiling ninjas.
No. They're spamming Wallow. God damn it. Dead. Okay, we got past the worm.
The next round, Yuffie got turned to stone and I panicked because she's my best offensive fighter in this challenge.
What? He turned into stone? Oh my god, how was I supposed to anticipate that? I can't, can I raise? No, you can't, she's stuck in stone. Are you fucking kidding me?
But I pulled through despite not having her in part of this fight.
Okay, I kind of freaked out there because my teammates, Yuffie got turned to stone. I thought for sure I was going to fail that.
In round 9, Totira makes a return and I was not happy to see him. Like the legendary challenge with Barret, I struggled fighting against Totira because of his projectiles.
Holy crap, Yuffie's down just like that. Holy crap, man. This guy's attack is ridiculous. This is, how do you do this? This is crazy hard. Aerith's unconscious now. I lost this at round 9. I lost this. Like, this is overpowered. How do you dodge this? Look how many attacks he has.
This can't be how it ends.
I think I'm gonna give up on this. My god. I don't know how to do this. Hellions Atonement. That is by far the hardest challenge I've ever seen in this game. Over 24 minutes spent on this one challenge, and I still failed it. That is ridiculous. I don't know why it's so hard.
I honestly don't know why the guide I used recommended completing brutal challenges before a hard difficulty playthrough. The force challenge is far more difficult than any of the fights I've had up to this point in the story. Brutal challenges should be tackled last when you've maxed your equipment and party members' folios. After spending most of this recording session playing only the 4th brutal challenge, I felt like I wasted so much time. I might not show it, but I was frustrated with myself for not quitting sooner. I severely underestimated how much time and dedication is needed to beat these challenges. And at the time of writing this, I don't know if I'm going to do the rest of the brutal and legendary challenges for this video. This is because I want to get this video done around the PC launch of this game. I still plan on 100% completing this game, so if I don't do them later, I'll do them later in a separate video. Considering how much time I already spent on beating 4 of these challenges, that video might be pretty long. So after deciding to give up on the challenges, I continue with the story. In this story, we're climbing Mount Corral to find a Mako reactor. Before heading up the mountain, our party members split, so our current party is Cloud, Aerith, and Red. We get optional fights, which I mostly avoid until we reach a Shinra helipad, where we have a fight with a custom Valkyrie. This fight doesn't seem hard coming fresh off quitting the challenges, and I beat this fight my first attempt. Later in the story, the party splits again, so we only have Yuffie, Barrett, and Tifa. Here we're tasked with navigating through this area playing as Yuffie. Right before reaching our objective, we have a fight with a bomb. Playing as Yuffie alone during this part, I can't rely on party members to help me. And I know I probably sound like a broken record saying this, but the bomb has a lot of health. And having a lot of health in combination with strong attacks makes solo fights like this tough. Shortly after, we have a fight against Gigatrice. After failing my first attempt, I called it a day because I was exhausted after trying so hard to beat the 4th brutal challenge. Returning to this fight in my next stream, I realized Tifa is at a disadvantage because Gigatrice is mostly airborne, where Tifa can't land basic attacks. So I stick to controlling Barrett and Yuffie during this fight. In the second phase of this fight, Gigatrice summons tornadoes which need to be elementally charged to ground Gigatrice. This is easier said than done because the tornadoes can only be targeted when Gigatrice is in or near them. I also summoned Gilgamesh to help me out in this fight, and I love his comedic intro. With the help of Gilgamesh, I beat Gigatrice. We meet back up with other party members at the end of this minecart track. Here I was editing my party combat settings and I realized I can change the party leader to party members other than Cloud. In my first playthrough, Cloud was locked in as a party leader in each of my party combat formations. And looking this up, you can change the party leader once you beat the story and select a chapter. I'm about halfway through the story and only discovering this now. So if you're planning on playing this game on hard, this is useful to know early in your playthrough. Continuing on with the story, we arrive at the Golden Saucer. I had a viewer join my stream and we had a nice conversation where they made a funny dad joke.
How are you feeling? Do you need anything?
What do you call a man with no body and no nose? I don't know. Yeah, go ahead. I honestly don't know the joke.
Good evening, friends of the Gold Saucer.
Nobody knows. Little corny dad joke. I love jokes like that. It's so corny. That's what's so funny about it.
And while the conversation was nice for about 10 minutes, it turned sour when I realized they were just trying to sell me something. They said they specialize in designing digital assets for content creators. They wanted to show me the work and asked if I had Discord or Instagram where they could show me. They ended up joining my Discord server and messaging me with samples of their assets. This is where I quickly blocked them and banned them from both my Discord server and Twitch. Listen, if you're going to sell assets to streamers, don't join their streams and start selling. There's a right way and a wrong way to sell, and joining a stream with only intentions to sell something is a wrong way to sell. I personally hate it when someone leads me on like this only for personal gain. So please, if you're one of these people, don't do this. Let us come to you. Bad viewer rant aside, continuing on with the story, we have a fight against Barrett's friend who's dying. To see him. Sorry, I had to make a joke about his name and his death after this fight. Anyway, this boss is unique in that it's only Barrett against Dine. Here you can use cover to protect yourself against some of Dine's attacks. Dine will occasionally use Repentance to destroy cover. This attack is strong, so it's best to move cover to cover to avoid it. And Dine is not that frustrating to fight. Like the Yuffie fight from earlier, most of the difficulty comes from not being able to rely on party members to help you. Rather, like most bosses, you learn how to avoid his attacks and when to attack in each of his phases. I failed a few times, with one being a very questionable death.
Really? What? Huh? I'm supposed to be dead. What? How am I alive? My health is 0 and I'm still alive? That's weird. Immediately after defeating Dawn, we have a boss fight against a Neuron Suppressor. I think I got that right. Cloud goes down less than halfway through this fight, so I was only left with Tifa and Aerith. Later, Aerith gets downed, and I was only left with Tifa to finish this fight. It was close, but I won in the end. We reach the desert in our dune buggy where my favorite character in this game joins our party, Kate Sith, who never skips leg day. Or maybe he does.
I wish I hadn't skipped leg day.
Hello from the future. Kate is my favorite character in this game for her Irish accent and silly combat style. Cloud has his sword, Tifa has her fists, and Barrett has his arm gun, but Kate has a giant die. Kate introduces a lot of randomness in combat with most of his abilities granting random buffs and attacks during fights. But this randomness is a refreshing addition to gameplay. Continuing on with the story, we arrive at Gunganga village and meet Sisane. If you played Crisis Core Reunion like I did, you'll recognize her here, but she's no longer a Turk. Shortly after arriving, we make our way to the Gunganga reactor with Cloud, Barrett, Red, and Kate. We don't have access to chocobos yet, so we go on foot and get to a few fights before arriving at the reactor. Inside the reactor, there are a lot of optional fights I mostly avoid, but some fights are unavoidable because of the tight spaces in this area. At the end of the reactor, we get into the boss fight against Specimen H024. Specimen takes reduced damage from basic attacks and is weak to magic. But since I'm trying to preserve magic for healing party members, I mostly stick to using basic attacks and abilities. Despite the reduced damage, Specimen is not a hard fight. After defeating Specimen, we play as Tifa, Aerith, and Yuffie and make our way to the reactor. We get access to chocobos, so we arrive at the reactor quicker than we did before. Inside the reactor, we take a different route using grappling guns. Nearing the end of our route, I struggle a bit with these slug ray enemies. But after finishing this fight, there was a bench nearby so I could heal my party members. But as I said before, a bench, folio machine, and vending machine means we're in for a boss fight. The boss fight we have here is against Crimson Mare Mark II. In the first phase, Crimson is weak to lightning, so I focus on using Yuffie's lightning ninjutsu combined with Doppelganger for damage output. In the second phase, Crimson takes reduced damage from magic, so I focus on physical damage to her arms to pressure her, and Crimson Mare eventually goes down. Shortly after, we start chapter 10 at the Cosmo Canyon and make our way to this village where Red is from. This is also where Red turns from a 48-year-old man into a 48-year-old child.
I was born and raised here, in this canyon. I was to become a watcher of the Veil like those before me, until I was taken by Shinra.
We're really gonna miss you, Red.
Oh, don't say that. You're only making this harder. I mean, I wish we had more time, but this is my duty.
I wanted you to treat me as an equal, not a dog.
Nana King! Is that you, my boy?
Coming!
I didn't play the original Final Fantasy VII, so I don't know the story of Red really being Nanaki. But as you might be able to tell, I'm not a fan of this reveal because I'm not a fan of the voice change. Red has a voice fitting of his cool design, but this voice change completely robs him of this cool persona. Anyway, continuing on with this chapter, we have a linear part playing as Red and Barrett. Although it might be a little late to mention this, in linear parts like this, it's best to preserve magic as much as possible. You don't have the option to leave these parts until you beat it. And usually these parts end in a boss fight where you'll need magic to keep party members healed. If you don't preserve magic, you might find yourself fighting the boss at a severe disadvantage, which in turn can make the boss near impossible to beat. During this part, I avoid optional fights as much as possible. For required fights, I mostly use basic attacks and abilities to kill enemies. When we reach the end, we have a fight against Guy in Attack. Most of the attacks can be avoided or blocked, but he still puts up a good fight and dishes a lot of damage. Preserving as much magic as I could for this fight, I used Cura to keep Red and Barrett healed. But despite that, I give up on my first attempt because Red got downed. If party members get downed early and you don't have revival material equipped, you might as well give up on the fight and try again. You really can't beat a boss with a solo party member early in the fight, in my opinion. On my second attempt, I take no chances and summon Bahamut to help me. I get an attack down to about a quarter of his health and he uses Doom.
Doom puts a timer on beating this fight, and if the timer ends, you automatically lose. And on hard difficulty, this timer is even shorter. It was nail-bitingly close in the end with only 4 seconds left on the timer.
Okay, I had 4 seconds left on the timer. That was pretty close, but I got it.
Hey guys, quick interjection here. If you liked the video so far, leave a like and subscribe down below. And let me know in the comments what other games you'd like for me to play in the future. Anyway, back to the video. After reuniting with the rest of our party, we continue through this area. Earlier, Guy enemies were introduced, but here's where they get hard because they're in larger numbers. Guy enemies attack quickly, can reflect attacks, give themselves buffs, and turn you into stone. Enemies can be relentless on hard difficulty, and these enemies really showcase that.
What? I have to retry this battle. Are these enemies that are going to attack anyone but Yuffie?
Don't give up now, you guys. Yoo-hoo!
Later on, sorcerers join the fights. Sorcerers can revive defeated enemies, which makes them the only enemy besides the Phoenix summon that can use a rise. This means you have to prioritize defeating sorcerers to stop enemies from being revived. On top of that, sorcerers are constantly dodging your attacks. You only have a small window to land attacks when they attack, which makes them really annoying to deal with. Later on, we make our way to Nibelheim region. For 100% completion, I have a small task of collecting some Choco Grass to get the last weapon needed for Kate Sith. After completing this, we make our way to the Mako reactor in this region with Cloud, Tifa, and Yuffie. We need to climb Mount Nebel to get to this reactor. Like every similar part before this, we have optional fights, which I mostly avoid. Although some enemies are placed directly on our path, which makes fighting them unavoidable. In particular, this dragon was blocking our path forward, so I had to fight them. Thankfully, unlike Guy enemies, this dragon was not hard to defeat. Arriving at the Mako reactor, we fight Diabolic Variant. Diabolic's attacks are easily avoidable with the exception of his In Shadow attack. This attack shrouds the area in poisonous mist, poisoning all party members. But for once I could say this boss does not have a lot of health, making for an easy fight. Returning to Nibelheim village, we take control of Kate, who is accompanied by Barrett and Aerith. Here we go into Shinra Manor's basement and solve crate puzzles to progress. Later inside the basement, we only play as Kate. And as much as I love Kate, he's not a good solo fighter. I think Aerith and Kate are best suited in support roles as they rely heavily on other party members to play offensively. But when you put Kate or Aerith on the offense, they don't put up a good fight. And playing as Kate alone in this part in my first playthrough made me realize this. I struggled to stay alive during this part, similar to my first playthrough of this part. I used healing materia to keep myself alive during a lot of these solo fights, but expending most of my magic came back to bite me when I had to fight Yin and Yang. I anticipate this fight being hard because I struggled fighting Yin and Yang in my first playthrough. What I didn't anticipate was starting this fight with little magic and 38 HP. I mentioned earlier that if you don't preserve magic, you might find yourself at a severe disadvantage fighting against bosses. While Yin and Yang is not a boss, they're still an incredibly tough enemy even when fighting them with a full party. So instead of practicing what I preached, I find myself up shit creek without a paddle. And this situation caused many frustrating deaths.
Oh my god, Kate, I don't know how they expect you to do this. I do so little damage. I'm gonna be stuck on this fight for a very long time. Oh my god. How many times is he gonna do that? God, I was so close that time. Despondent Strike, that attack, he keeps spamming it after, like, it hits 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's if you don't block the first one, you get a chain attack so easily. It's doing really well that fight too. To
To beat this fight, I equipped a chakra material to heal myself and learn Yin and Yang's attacks. Yin and Yang, depending on who wakes up, will either use magic or physical attacks. You must use the opposite of their attacks, meaning when they use magic, you use physical attacks, and vice versa. Most of Yin and Yang's attacks are hard to avoid, especially their physical attacks. I find myself constantly dodging and blocking attacks throughout this fight, but constantly dodging can get the camera trapped behind the environment where I can't see the enemy's attacks. So in addition to this fight already being hard, keeping the camera not trapped makes this even harder.
How does he reach me from that far? Oh my good god, that kick. This despondent strike, my god. Oh, I'm getting sick and tired of that attack. When he's pressured, that's all he spams is despondent strike. This is not even a boss fight, but this is really hard to do just as Kate Sith alone. Oh my god, dude, I thought I dodged that. Come on. I can't. I lost already. Ugh. I can survive that. No, I can't. Like, that's... His physical attacks are far worse than his magic attacks. His magic attacks are blockable or avoidable, Blizzard or Thunder, but not his physical attacks. They come out so quickly. It's like, if you push the wrong button like 3 seconds before he does the attack, you get hit. You can't block it. I tried dodging that. The camera works against me here. Like how? I can't even see him when he attacks. Like, look how much is working against me in the camera. The walls here. If I get cornered in this, the wall works against you because it blocks your view of him. I'm not gonna survive this. I can't. Yeah. This is frustrating. Why did that do 1 more damage? That's a stronger variation? Yeah, oh my god, I'm getting tired of playing this fight. God, this is so hard to avoid, that despondent strike attack. It's like you playing through a hard mode, man, just avoiding these attacks is so infuriating, man. I can't even see him half the time. Oh my god, the camera angle here. I can't even see what's going on. Okay, we got him. Oh, thank god.
Never again.
Yeah, never again, Kate Sith.
Okay.
Deeper within Shinra Manor's basement, we fight Forgotten Specimen. I don't have much to say about this fight, as it was pretty easy. What I do have a lot to say about is fighting Galleon Beast. In my first playthrough, I struggled against Galleon Beast and died a few times. Galleon's attacks are fast but avoidable on normal difficulty. Most of his attacks hit several times, which deals a lot of damage. And on hard difficulty, his attacks are even quicker and feels almost unfair. Seriously, I blocked an attack as Kate, got knocked down, and before I could get up, Galleon attacked again.
I didn't have time to even get up from the stun attack. Like, that is... I don't know how to say this, but that doesn't even seem fair for even hard difficulty. It's like I got hit, Kate was still getting up in the animation, and then I was attacked again before I even got up. Like that, I don't even think that feels fair, honestly.
In this fight, your party is locked to Cloud, Kate, and Barret. I depleted most of Barret and Kate's magic, so I had to rely on Cloud to keep party members alive. This puts me at a big disadvantage. And I almost gave up because I was streaming for 3 hours and was exhausted from fighting Yin and Yang.
How did Kate Sith get part of that? Come on, really? I think I'm done playing this for now. Yeah.
What I learned from fighting Galleon was not to have autocast equipped to party members, as this causes them to get hit by Galleon's attacks. I also learned Cloud has the best mobility to dodge attacks, so I stick to mostly controlling him. After modifying my equipment to best tackle Galleon, I tried again and eventually won.
Kate Sith is down again. My god, does he not last very long. I find this guy attacks way too quickly. He already attacks quick enough, but he attacks way too quickly. Nah, I couldn't even dodge out of the way quick enough. I have the good setup here. I just need to figure out, like, I think I need to play as Cloud because he's the most nimble of all the party members. I was doing so well. Okay, we got it. We got it. Thank God. That was a hard fight. Ugh. Right after fighting Galleon, we have a rematch against Roche. The objective in this fight is to pressure Roche by attacking him after he uses special attacks. Coming fresh off fighting Galleon, Roche is comparably easier to fight. But having depleted most of Cloud's magic already, I equipped chakra material to keep myself healed. And like every solo fight, I can't rely on party members to help me. I almost beat Roche on my second attempt, but slipped up and lost. It took quite a few attempts of dodging Roche's attacks and pressuring him to finally win. Okay, I'm gonna equip chakra materia. Oh, come on, man. I was doing so well the second fight. I just slipped up. Oh my god, I do not time that right. Oh my god, he does Sinister Slash so quickly. I'm dead.
Game over, huh?
Oh. Roche should not be that hard. I'm gonna put this in my notes. Damn it, I don't know why I tried blocking that. No, he did another attack after that. I shouldn't have tried blocking. Oh my god, that second attack comes out so quickly, man. Oh my god. I cannot get hit at all. Come on. Try to defeat him.
You're out of luck.
Okay, we got him, yeah. Afterwards, we start chapter 12 and return to the Golden Saucer. Here we prep for a fight against Corneo and his goons in the Musclehead Coliseum. But not before we go on a date with Tifa and watch Loveless. I personally love this part of the story. Having party members participate in this play is a little corny, but really fun and memorable. It's like kids playing Knights and Dragons, but as adults. So like every D&D player. But I'm all for it. Here's also where I had to get a flawless score in Loveless for 100% completion, but after looking this up online, it was quite involved. So in the interest of time, I'll complete it later when I'm not streaming. Moving on to the Muscle Coliseum, my first couple of fights against Corneo's lackeys and Cactuar goes well. However, I struggle fighting against Tonberries in this third fight. For those of you not familiar with Tonberries, they're a recurring enemy in the Final Fantasy series. They look unassuming, but are incredibly strong. In Rebirth, Tonberries would constrict you in place and use Chef's Knife to one-hit you. And that's what I mostly struggle with during this fight. There's equipment that prevents instant death like this, but I didn't want to restart these fights to equip it. So I toughed it out and eventually won.
Keep it up.
Seizing the opening. This one's for you.
After the Tonberries come Corneo and his pet Abzu. Abzu puts up a good fight, but is eventually defeated. And I love how after finishing this fight, the game becomes a satire of itself by placing a bench, folio machine, and vending machine in the arena before our next fight. You just know the developers were self-aware at this point. Our next fight is against the Turks once again. As I mentioned earlier in this video, I still think Turks are not too difficult to fight. I wasn't confident in beating Elena or Rude on my first attempt, so I restarted and modified my equipment. Browsing through the vending machine, I just now realized you can buy revival materia. I played through most of this game with only one revival materia, so I bought one for each party member. I also bought enough green materia to allow party members to have their own materia, meaning I wouldn't have to de-equip the party member to equip another member with the same green materia. After modifying my equipment, including equipping each party member with a revival materia, I jumped back into fighting the Turks. Like earlier Turk fights, I prioritized taking out Elena first as she's easier to defeat. What's noteworthy in this fight is Rude will use Phoenix Down to revive Elena when low on health, so be prepared to fight Elena again. After defeating the Turks, we get arguably the hardest solo fight in this game against Rufus. Anyone who's played Rebirth up to this point will know how annoying fighting Rufus is. Rufus can only be attacked and pressured when he reloads, otherwise your attacks are countered. His reloads are short and somewhat inconsistent, making your window for attacks small. However, after Guns Akimbo, he will always reload, so look out for this attack. When he does reload, you need to be fairly close for basic attacks and abilities to connect. If you land a basic attack, Rufus will not be hit stunned and retaliates with punishment. And there were countless times I was hit by punishment while attacking.
What's better to attack with is Focus Thrust to stun Rufus, but this attack only lands if you're close to him. Considering you can only attack Rufus when he reloads, building an ATB charge can take a long time. After my first couple attempts, I accidentally restarted to before fighting the Turks. Knowing Rufus came right after the Turks, I preserve as much magic as I could for Cloud. After defeating the Turks for the second time, I fight Rufus again. I get Rufus down to about half his health and enter the second phase, where Rufus's pet, Darkstar, joins the fight. I prioritize taking out Darkstar, but only lasts about 30 seconds before Rufus and Darkstar are literally running circles around me. Fighting Rufus can drag on for a long time, so on repeat attempts, I retry this battle when I'm not confident I'm doing good enough. When I get to the second phase again, I summon Odin to help me. Unlike Rufus, Darkstar can be attacked and hit stun anytime, so I focus on defeating him first. Odin defeats Darkstar, resulting in Rufus getting a permanent Berserk buff. This buff is a glass cannon because you deal more damage and take more damage. But taking more damage really helps me finish this fight.
Okay, we got it.
At the start of chapter 13, we make our way to the ancient temple. Inside the temple, we shift gravity to progress and avoid optional fights until we reach the Shinra soldiers. This fight was surprisingly hard because of the large number of enemies. They often hit stun you until you're defeated. To combat this, I recommend using Barret's Smackdown ability for AoE damage. After the soldiers came Red Dragon. I didn't struggle with this boss much on my first playthrough, but here I do. Red Dragon is not too hard of a fight until he uses Crimson Breath 3. This one attack became a big hurdle to overcome because it's unavoidable and often downs all party members. After losing to the stack a few times, I look up online how to deal with it. One comment I read said to damage his chest to weaken the attack, but to my knowledge, this didn't work. I really didn't get a clear answer online, so I swapped Yuffie with Aerith and equipped Aerith with Re-Raise Materia. Re-Raise allows a party member to be automatically revived once during a battle. My intentions were to be downed by the attack and revived, then revive other party members. In the end, my re-raise strategy did help me defeat Red Dragon.
I'll land this. Gotta be careful. Be careful.
After defeating Red Dragon, the party gets split up once again and we play as Cloud, Tifa, and Barret. We continue progressing through the temple, avoiding high winds and eventually encountering more soldiers. These soldiers are strong because they're high rank and use magic attacks. In the interest of preserving magic, I avoid healing party members, which leads to a close fight. But Barret, being a tank and doing a lot of stagger damage, pulls through for me on this one. We then switch to Aerith, Yuffie, and Red. Playing as Aerith, we progress by filling these lifestream containers to reassemble parts of the temple. And although I usually avoid optional fights, a few of these fights are required to collect lifestream orbs to fill containers. We once again return to Cloud, Tifa, and Barret where we continue through the temple, eventually reaching this lifestream container. Here we fight an Ironclad and I start getting flashbacks to Cloud's legendary challenge. But unlike that challenge, we have a full party and our objective is to stagger the Ironclad. I don't have too much trouble with the Ironclad as I mostly avoid his one-hit attacks and chip away at his enormous amount of health. After staggering him, we finally defeat Ironclad and continue progressing through the temple. We then encounter the Turks once again, but this time Rude is accompanied by Reno. And by far, Reno is the most annoying Turk to fight. Reno uses EMP mines that follow you and stuns you if touched. On top of dealing with Rude and Reno's attacks, these mines are hard to prioritize and destroy. On my first attempt, I retried because I was going to fail, and equipped elemental materia Rude and Reno are weak to. And although I said Turks are not too difficult, I struggle with this fight.
Come on, man. These combos hit are annoying as hell.
Mercenary.
Don't know why I did that. That was a waste. Okay, we got it. I didn't think I would win that fight.
After the Turks comes more Turks, but as Aerith, Yuffie, and Red. This fight is against Sung and Elena, and I think you already know who I prioritize. Aerith's builds combined with Yuffie's elemental ninjutsu and doppelganger abilities makes Elena go down fairly easily. Sung is the only one left and his attacks are easy to avoid. But like the previous Turk fight, Sung revives Elena with a Phoenix down when he's low on health. But even that doesn't help them in this fight because I beat them my first attempt anyway. Okay. After defeating the Turks, our split party is reunited once again. We continue progressing through the temple, and in these trials, we relive each party member's saddest moment in their life. And honestly, the death of Aerith's mom is probably one of the most saddest moments I've ever played in a video game. Playing as a helpless young girl sobbing because she can't save her dying mom is incredibly sad. And it had me teary-eyed in my first playthrough. Wiping our tears away and continuing through this temple, we get optional and required fights. Tortilla makes an appearance here, but since I'm not in the mood for a Pokemon battle, I skipped this fight. Sorry Tortilla, I'd pick the Fire Monkey over you any day. Further into the temple, we get exposition where I learn G is pronounced G and not Guy. So sorry my guy. I mean G. At the end of this area, we find Tortilla once again, and he's brought a friend. This is a required fight, so I guess we're getting that Pokemon battle after all. I prioritize taking out Pantera Protector first as he's the weakest of the two, and quickly move on to Torterra. Like in Barrett's challenge, Torterra charges, uses projectiles, and buffs himself. But with a party of 3, this fight is much easier. I'm not sure what strategy to deploy here, so I slowly chip away at his health until he's eventually defeated. Finishing our Pokemon battle, we fully heal at a Pokemon Center and reach the end of the temple where we have a boss fight against Demonic Gate. I was about 3 hours and 15 minutes into my recording before starting this fight, and a little fatigued from playing. But my god, this boss almost made me rage quit. Demonic Gate is fought inside an arena that gets smaller when he uses Encroach. And in the second phase, another Demonic Gate appears, meaning you have to fight an enemy both behind you and in front of you. In all my attempts, I prioritized defeating Demonic Gate A first. But before being defeated, Demonic Gate A uses Final Thors, which shrinks the arena as much as possible. And fighting in this small arena leads to frustrations with avoiding Demonic Smash. While most of Demonic Gate's attacks are avoidable, Demonic Smash comes out quickly, can't be blocked, and deals massive damage. This one attack led to many frustrating deaths and even made me go on an angry rant. What did it just use? Oh my god, man. I hate these one-hit attacks. I'm gonna have to use re-raise. Oh my god, man, I can't even see what's going on. This is infuriating to play in such a closed space like this. Holy crap, what's going on with the camera? I can't even see what the hell's going on.
Getting dark.
Oh my good god, this fight, man, I'm going to put revival earrings on everybody. Oh my good god. What happened here? I can't see what's going on. Holy crap, my god. You get up and then you get hit. I don't know how this is even, like, the stun locking is ridiculous. That should never be a thing in the game.
Returning to the life.
That I get, like, this is so frustrating. Demonic Slam, he called it out in 3 seconds and I got downed. Like, how is this even fair? I don't understand why they designed it like this, that you could get hurt during synergy attacks. Like, it's so frustrating, and fighting in this enclosed space, man, it's ridiculous. Like, and you know, considering it's such an enclosed space, the camera's working against you too. Oh, this fight, man. Holy fuck. Look, I could not get up, and I got stun hit, and then when I hit the ground, I got hit again before I could even get up. Aerith is down before I could even get up. How is that fair? I don't understand why they thought that was good design. But hard mode, it's just ridiculous. Despite 2 of my team members being revived, they're still down again because I got hit twice.
after being revived. How ridiculous is that?
Right now.
Down, just like that. I cannot use synergy attacks at all. This is so badly designed. I just generally think this is not enjoyable to play, like, at all. I enjoy a good hard challenge in the game, but my god, this doesn't even seem fair. God damn it. Goofy, get up. Like, come on. Like, how is that fair? I'm doing the get up animation, I still get hit. How is this a fair fight? Are you kidding me? We lost, didn't we? He's using... Okay, never mind. He's spamming attacks. Aerith is down. He's spamming attacks, man. He is spamming, my goodness God. Okay, we got it. We got it. Get wrecked, stinky door boss, yeah. Finally, it took... I was getting frustrated fighting that thing. Finally, we make it to chapter 14. This is the last chapter of the game and is mostly comprised of fighting Sephiroth in different phases. But our first fight is against Jenova Lifeclinger. Early into this phase, Jenova will force party members to leave the fight, so Cloud is the only one left. In most of the phases in this chapter, Cloud either fights alone or with party members, so be sure to preserve Cloud's magic as much as possible. Jenova uses a barrier that can only be damaged by magic. To preserve magic, you can use Blade Burst as Cloud to destroy the barrier. On my second attempt, I decided to look up an online guide for fighting Jenova. One comment suggested making Cloud and Yuffie immune to ice because Jenova uses blizzard attacks, so I equipped them with ice elemental armor. In the second phase, Jenova used Desecration. From my knowledge, this attack can't be blocked and does massive damage. It can be avoided, but I get hit by it often, which causes many deaths while fighting Jenova. So have revival materia equipped to each party member to counteract this attack. And I eventually get past the second phase. In the next phase, you fight Jenova in parties of 2, with the first party being Kate and Tifa. Tifa had little health and often got down, which made this phase difficult. Like I mentioned earlier, having Kate play offensively is less than ideal. Kate takes a while to build an ATB charge to revive Tifa. Kate also doesn't have good mobility to dodge Jenova's attacks, especially while riding Moogle. I mostly struggle with this phase because failing either of the following 2 phases, you'll restart from here. The following phase is with Red and Barret. Barret, being a powerhouse, makes quick work of Jenova. The next phase is with Yuffie and Cloud. I don't struggle too much here, but Jenova can use Desecration in any of these phases, so be ready for it. After getting past this phase, we move on to the final phase with Jenova. Here, Jenova is relentless with her attacks, especially with Desecration. And when pressured, Jenova will send out a lot of projectiles that chain attacks you by stun locking you. Despite all this phase only took me a couple attempts.
Winter comes, and Wu Tai's white rose withers away. The end. What you get for talking a ninja?
Okay, we got it. And now the finale with the iconic villain himself, Sephiroth. What's unique about this phase is Zack is in our party. I had only 11 MP with Cloud, so I mostly control Zack and use his magic. In comparison to Cloud, Zack is quite strong and has a lot of spells. In particular, I use his magnified Cure to keep Cloud and Zack healed during this phase. Zack is only in a couple of phases, so don't be concerned with preserving his magic. Sephiroth's attacks are easy to avoid with the exception of Octaslash. This attack will almost always land and it does massive damage, so be prepared by having ATB charges ready to heal or revive party members. This phase took me a few attempts.
This is not the price of freedom's too steep.
I get exhaustion. Down. Love how that worked out.
Looking good.
I gotta try to get Sephiroth staggered before he does that attack. Octoslash.
We're not done here.
In the second phase, we fight Sephiroth Reborn as Cloud only.
I wasn't confident I had enough health and magic for this fight, so I restarted to before the previous phase. And after finally returning to this phase, I had more health and magic. The goal here is to get to Sephiroth's body and destroy it. Sephiroth will blow you back to the starting area with Maelstrom, which due to collisions sometimes doesn't blow you back. With Sephiroth's body, you want to use Braver to deal a lot of damage. After this part and climbing Sephiroth like a monkey, we fight Sephiroth Reborn as Cloud only again. On hard difficulty, Sephiroth will immediately use Heartless Angel to bring your health down to 1 HP. This attack is unavoidable, and the guide I used recommended using Chakra to heal Cloud. I didn't have Chakra equipped, so I stuck to using Cura and Regen. Besides Heartless Angel, Sephiroth's attacks are surprisingly easy to avoid. But I do fail here and in the previous part a few times. How is this fair? I get hit by one, I get hit by all of them. Ugh. I really hate the stun locking in this game. Like, this is, it doesn't, you hit by one, it's like do, you know?
Figures it would end like this.
Oh, God, come on, man. That is just so... the attack, my God. And having to watch this all over again, man. Oh, Heartless Angel attack again. That seems completely unavoidable. Like, it's impossible to... it gotta be impossible to dodge, right? Oh my God, I don't know why. It's just a one-hit attack. It's... Oh.
Some hero you turned out to be.
That one hits you. Are you f***ing with me? I don't think I could beat him like this. Oh, I almost died there. Okay. Is that it? This part? Got. Then the other party members fight him, right? The next phase we play is Barret, Kate, and Tifa and fight Bahamut, Arisen, Whisper. Bahamut will use Giga Flare early into this fight, so have all party members fully healed. In my situation, usually someone survived the attack. Bahamut is not too hard to defeat, but once defeated, will return to Sephiroth to be healed. If you're not quick enough to destroy Sephiroth's wings, Bahamut will fully heal and you'll have to fight him again. After defeating Bahamut a second time, we move on to fighting Sephiroth. You only need to damage his wings before we move on to the next phase. The next phase, we fight Sephiroth as Zack only. Zack is pretty strong, so this phase, I didn't feel like I was playing on hard difficulty at all. So it ends pretty quickly. In the final phase with Sephiroth Reborn, we play as Red, Barret, and Yuffie. Remembering how much trouble I had with this phase in my first playthrough, I quickly look up an online guide. The guide said depending on which element Sephiroth's wings are, you must use elemental magic it's weak to. Fire is weak to ice, lightning is weak to wind, and etc. I use Yuffie's elemental ninjutsu combined with Doppelganger to damage the wings. After the wings are destroyed, Sephiroth's core is exposed and we must destroy that as well. This leads into the next part of this phase, attacking the upper body. Here, Sephiroth will use Heartless Angel once again to bring all your health down to 1 HP. He'll also use Octaslash to deal massive damage. And failing here means you have to restart back to damaging his elemental wings. Easy to say, I was stuck on this phase for a while. I don't know why I wasted that. What is chasing me here? Oh. If I could see the fucking attack, it'd be great. Did I just get knocked back into it and then knocked? If it's not Octoslash, it's Heartless Angel that kills you. Wow, I can't believe I never got hit by that. Oh my God. Red's not gonna survive this. Oh, he wasn't having it. Okay, we got him. And now we get to the final phase with Sephiroth. Here we play as Cloud and Aerith. I'm really glad Aerith is here because her healer build helps me out a lot in this fight. At first, Sephiroth didn't seem hard to fight. Most of his attacks are easy to avoid with the exception of Octaslash. But Aerith can easily heal the party after this attack lands. Rather, most of the difficulty comes from defeating Sephiroth when he uses Tempest Finis. During Tempest Finis, you need to stagger Sephiroth while his stagger bar is depleting. If you fail to do this in time or don't defeat him when he's staggered, Sephiroth will use Octaslash Prime, which is a guaranteed one-hit kill, regardless of your buffs and health. And because of this one attack, this phase took me about an hour to beat.
You fucker. He used an instant kill attack. Like that, he has a sliver of health and then he uses that. My god, I have to do this whole fight again. That's so fucking cheap.
Probably heal up
Okay, I'm retrying that. I do not want Aerith to go down that easily. Why am I having trouble with him now? I didn't have trouble this much trouble the first time around.
I'll show you what I can do.
What the f was that, Cloud? Come on, how is that fair? Oh my god. This fucking fight, man. Did I just lose? What? How do you defeat his last attack? The end is nigh. I gotta stagger him before he does that. No fucking way did he do this. You can only beat him when he's like that. Her again. You gotta stagger him, and then you have to defeat him in that one phase. So I guess I gotta keep my limit for that. I could have had that if I just saved my limit for when he was staggered. I'm tired of watching this. That was poor planning on my part. Okay, we got it. Holy f, that was close. Oh, goddamn, that fight took me like 2 hours. Oh, screw this cutscene, I'm not watching this. That's it. I'm done. Not playing this anymore. I'm done.
And that was my hard difficulty playthrough of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This video ended a lot more differently than I thought. I had intentions to 100% complete this game, with this video's focus being my hard difficulty playthrough. I even cut parts out of the intro where I mentioned 100% completion. I want my channel to become the hardest something in a video game, and in the games I play, it's sometimes that last thing you do for 100% completion. For Rebirth, that'll be the brutal and legendary challenges. But in the interest of time, I'll make another video where I beat the rest of the challenges. Reflecting on this playthrough, there were so many frustrations, I can't recommend most players play hard difficulty. Frustrations like taking damage during synergy attacks and while being revived simply feels cheap and unfair given how fast and frequent enemies attack. If you're interested in playing hard difficulty with the PC launch of this game, be aware of these frustrations. Hard difficulty wasn't fun at times for me, and I mostly enjoy hard playthroughs like this. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.